Now I'm thinking about gin and tonic, which I feel like it's a very south of France aperitivo moment. So yeah, gin.
Welcome to Watch Mojo's Poppin the Culture, your weekly entertainment check-in. And me, well, I am your ever-loving host. That's right, it's Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. Such a great show coming your way, as always. I'll be speaking with some of the stars and the creator of Downton Abbey, A New Era. That's the new film in the Downton Abbey franchise. Plus, I've got the director of There Are No Saints. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss that chat. But first, as we do, let's jump into it. Here's your Hollywood headlines. All right, as we do each and every show, we kick things off with a bit of a look at some of the headlines over there in Hollywood. I need help breaking it all down, and I love when I get them back. Hey, Ricky, how's it going?
Hey, Matt, it's going great. How are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Listen, I know that you, like me, love you some big screen movies. Listen, summertime is right around the corner, but I think it's safe to say that maybe summer movie season has already started because we got a lot on the go. So I tasked you. I gave you a little bit of homework. I asked you to pick some movies that you're most excited for. I'll chime in. I got mine. I know I can almost guarantee that there's a superhero Marvel one on your list, but let's find out what else is on there. What is Ricky most excited for on the big screen this summer?
Oh, okay. So I picked 6 that I really, really want to see in theaters. The rest I'll wait till they come out to stream. Lightyear, of course. I think that's going to be so cool. I love Chris Evans. I love Toy Story. So this is kind of like a perfect movie.
I think, okay, listen, I'm excited because I saw the trailers for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this looks great. It's going to be fun and it's going to be great. I'm still confused over the concept. Okay, so here's the thing. Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story is a toy.
Toy, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So this movie that we're seeing is what?
It's about, I think it's about the guy that the toy is based on, the way Buzz Aldrin, Buzz Lightyear was based on Buzz Aldrin. This is kind of like that, that version of it. He's the space hero that got turned into a toy that every kid wanted. So I think it's very interstellar-y. It's super cool. I love it. It's like it's Interstellar meets like, I don't know, man. It's
so
really
is what happens in this movie, is it canon to what is in Toy Story? Like if we see aliens in Lightyear, does that mean in Andy's world?
The multiverse. We're opening up the Toy Story multiverse now. I don't know what Disney's doing, but there's going to be something.
I think I'm thinking too much into this, but no, it does look fun. So Lightyear from Pixar, and Pixar never misses.
No,
their filmography is amazing. Okay, what else you got?
Okay, so The Gray Man, which is going to be crazy to see Ryan Gosling, if I'm not mistaken, and Chris Evans in a movie, which is going to be huge. I think it's a Netflix original, from what I understand. But I mean, this is just 2 great actors. Huge budget. I think it might be one of the most expensive films they have ever produced, if not the most. So I'm really curious to see what they put into this one. Maybe Oscar worthy. I don't know. It could be really, really cool. So yeah, Gray Man, definitely excited for that. Nope. Of course, I'm a huge fan of Jordan Peele and his work. And Nope just looks insane. I love aliens. So they're he's going everywhere. He's so good. I'm like over the moon about that. I'm gonna go see that as soon as it comes out. Elvis, I know you were excited for Elvis as well.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited for Elvis. Yeah. Listen, I was saying, I think it might have been last week with Phoebe. I was saying, why has it taken it this long? Like Elvis is iconic. Maybe they just needed the right director, the right actor. But listen, it looks like they've gotten both. Yeah, and if you go online and look at the buzz, the critics that have already seen it are giving it high praise. Not a lot of them have, but you know who did see it and is giving it high praise? The Presleys. Lisa Marie and Priscilla are saying this is Elvis. This movie is magic, and that's got me so excited.
I know. I'm really looking forward to that, seeing him replicated on the big screen. And then kind of the last. Well, Thor. I want to say Thor: Love and Thunder, but that's just assumed. Like, everybody's going to see that. And the last one, which is going to be interesting, is Bullet Train. For me, I'm really curious about what that's going to be like. It looks fun. Brad Pitt in like a crazy action movie. What's his name is also there.
It's got a great Bad Bunny's also in it.
Bad Bunny's also in it. Yeah, guy from Kick-Ass.
Fun. I love movies like that too.
Me too.
Where it's just action and looks like, there's an assassination trying to get something. It's all taking place in this one spot. Yeah, I'm in for that movie. You missed one that was on my list that's coming up like super soon.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not excited for something called Top Gun Maverick.
You know what? I actually, yes, I was debating putting it on the list because it was a kind of a last minute thing. I wasn't sure how good it was going to be. I saw some of the, when I went to go see Doctor Strange, I saw the preview and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And then only like this morning, I think I saw kind of the Rotten Tomatoes scores and I was like, oh my God, it's like a blowout win. So I'm probably going to see that as well.
You're hearing what I'm hearing. You're hearing what I'm hearing, that this movie is better than the first one. It's got amazing stunts and action, and Tom Cruise pushes the limits to the max. Something's wrong with him, or he just needs adrenaline in his life.
Space is next, man. He's going to space. So.
Oh, that's right. Is he actually? Yeah, he is. He's going to space.
He's going to space to film a movie. So the natural progression is get in a crazy fighter jet, then go to space. That's what we do.
We can't satisfy Tom Cruise's need for speed and
adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I think this summer's going to be good. Listen, the past couple of years, movie fans like myself, we've had a few hits and a few blockbusters come our way, but because of the pandemic, everything's kind of been delayed. Productions were delayed. Now this summer, it looks like a return to form where we get like these really juicy movies as you laid out. So, I'm in. And Love and Thunder Thor, I think, will be a big, big one.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that, too. It's going to be nice to see Natalie Portman come back and her role in that.
Yeah, no, and seeing her, seeing the previews that we have, like her costume.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
All right, last thing I want to do in our Hollywood headlines is look at something that I saw, the cinematic trailer for this game, and I think it's you're the gaming guy. You can tell me all about it, but it's called Multiverses. This is from the folks at Warner Brothers. So I was like, what is this? And then I saw Shaggy attacking Batman, and then Bugs Bunny was like fighting. Like, this is like DC's multiverse fighting game. What is this? What do you know about this game?
Yeah, so this is in the vein of Super Smash Brothers, which is obviously like one of the most popular fighting games ever. And it's just really cool. It's from what I understand, it's going to be free to play game, so everybody can get access to it. And it's got like a who's who of all of these Warner Brothers characters. You've got the Batman, Superman, the DC guys. You've got, like you mentioned, Scooby-Doo. You've got some of the Looney Tunes. So it's just a fun grab bag of all characters, and it's a fighting game where you could do 2v2 or 1v1. You throw each other off the platforms. I love when these wacky games come out, especially when they're free, because like there's no harm. You just pick it up and you try playing it, right? And if you have fun, you have fun, and if you don't, you just put it down. But we're going to start seeing this a lot more. PlayStation's probably going to come out with their own version of their own IPs relatively soon. They had one in the past; it didn't really work out well. But we're going to start seeing these kind of like fun mashup games. The way the multiverse Smash Brothers, the multiverse, everybody loves crossovers. So that's the theme. It's just crossover everything, make all the fandoms happy, get as many people as possible in the space.
You nailed it. Everything is a multiverse now. Like everything is multiverse. But yeah, watching that trailer got me excited. Yeah, I want to have Superman fight the Tasmanian Devil.
Exactly.
That's fun.
It's great.
Yeah, so I'll check it out. And like you said, it is a free-to-play game. You are right about that. So
yeah,
that's a good stuff. Okay, Ricky, as fun as this has all been, I need you to do me a favor and stay right there, because we got to take that trip. That trip is beyond the list. All right, Ricky, here's what we do. We go in the vast archives of WatchMojo. We pluck out a top 10 list, and we go beyond that list. What does that mean? It means me and you get to riff a little, give our own opinions, and discover the entries. Today we're doing a little something different, because this is actually a top 20. Top 20, yeah, that's right. WatchMojo does top 20s, sometimes a top 50, even top 100s. But today we're doing a top 20, but we are only looking at the top 10 of that list. If you want the full list, go watch it. Okay, what is the list, by the way? Top 20 video game characters based on celebrities. I saw WatchMojo put this out actually recently, and I was like, what? I had no idea this was a thing. Yeah. So I'm excited to go through it with you. Did you know this was a thing? You must know that this is a thing.
You know, I knew a couple of them, but some really surprised me. Some of them really old. Some of them I just was like, how is this even possible? There was definitely some surprises on the list because like, you know, gaming and celebrity culture back in the day didn't really intersect as much as it kind of does now. So it is really surprising to see some of these some of the way some of these characters were born or inspired.
There's one that I think might be on the list, and if I see it, I'll call it out. That I'm thinking of. I don't want to spoil it for those that don't know what's on this list. But let's start with number 10. Like I said, this is a top 20, but we're starting at the midway point. Bayonetta, yes. Okay, it's based on Sarah Palin / Tina Fey.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? And then I actually did a Google recently, and I'm looking at the face. I'm like, what?
How is that? Crazy.
It is crazy.
It is. It's a perfect mix between the two of them. It's actually who the heck came up with? They're so random and they're so different too. Sarah Palin and
yeah,
like the genius that is Tina Fey. Yeah.
But it is too with the glasses, and I wonder how they can get it. Like they can only take it so far before the celebrity goes, wait a minute.
That looks a lot. Well, it's happened in the past. It's happened with other celebrities who've endorsed games. But yeah, there's a point where it's like we stop at the glasses and you know the face, and
because I've interviewed comic book artists who sometimes have to base characters. And like, well, where do you come up with their face? You know, if they're not like a known person, and they look at actors, they look at people on the screen, and they just kind of go there. But they can only go a certain way before it's not a complete copy. But here they were probably saying, like, let's make Bayonetta look like Tina. You ever watch Tina Fey on SNL? That's Sarah Palin. That's who it should be. Oh, number 9. Here we go. We didn't wait long for the one that I was totally new about. That's Johnny Cage. Was based on Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes.
So this I heard about.
Yeah, this is a cool story too because I think originally he didn't want it. They had approached him and he was like, "Nah," and they're like, "All right, well, we're just gonna rip off your, the Hollywood movie star action guy," and they kind of just went their own way and did it without him, And Johnny Cage was born, and he's just like the most iconic, one of the most iconic fighting characters ever,
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's evolved. Like now, like it's not like a Van Damme ripoff.
No, not
he's
anymore.
His own thing. He's so cool. He's so cool. So Mortal Kombat the movie is getting a sequel, the remake.
Yes.
And Johnny Cage. They haven't cast him yet. At least they haven't announced their casting.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see who they get.
They better get it right. Yeah. There's a wrestler called The Miz, who is like to me very much Johnny Cage-esque. So he would make a good one. But yeah, that's crazy. Mortal Kombat. Okay, number 8 on this list is Ryder from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is Eazy-E. This doesn't surprise me that game would pull from that hip-hop world.
Yeah, and you can even see side by side how they look like each other. It's not very flattering because Ryder is not necessarily like the guy you want in your corner type thing, but yeah.
That's the thing too. If you're like, oh, this character is based on you, and you look at it and you're like, what?
I don't like this guy. Yeah.
Was there at one point like a Lindsay Lohan type character in Grand Theft Auto? Was that a thing?
So she sued Rockstar for using her likeness in a portrait where she's kind of like there's like a blonde model. She doesn't really look like Lindsay Lohan, but there is a picture that you can make the case that it's like, oh, it might be inspired, but. She lost that case so bad. Like it was really grasping at straws at that point. But there was a controversy.
I do remember that. But I mean, Hollywood starlets, the young actresses and singers and whatnot, they all kind of have that same similar look. So I can see why she may have lost it. Okay, number 7. This one. Yeah, totally. Solid Snake based on Kurt Russell.
Snake Plissken. Escape from New York.
Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Metal Gear, of course, being the game. Yeah, totally.
And Hideo Kojima's like a super, super cinephile, like crazy cinephile.
Oh, yeah?
Dude. He's the creator of the Metal Gear series. He is movie crazy. So there's all kinds of references in the Metal Gear franchise to all kinds of amazing works, to David Bowie, to pop culture. Like he's like a powerhouse, Kojima. Yeah.
Nice. I recently rewatched Escape from New York because it was on one of my streaming. I forget which one because there's so many streaming stuff out there.
Peacock.
There's so many. But it's great. Yeah. Still holds up. Kurt Russell. So no wonder you're going to base a character on that badass. So cool. So good. Number 6, we're getting to the midway point of our lower half of this list. Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes, based on Johnny Knoxville. Okay, not familiar with this. Fill me in a little bit on what No More Heroes is, but Johnny Knoxville in a video game. Character.
Yeah, so like I guess the main character, Travis Touchdown, is kind of like this rogue like canon, and he's it's just a very violent, brutal game where you're beating the shit out of people. But there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of there's a lot of attitude, and it very, very good. It encompasses Johnny's kind of just overall like attitude of like just being a joker and also just a crazy man. Yeah, you could see it in the design too, in the face and the hair. There's a bit of all of it in there.
Insane acts. If you're going to have someone do some insane, crazy things, why not? Johnny Knoxville. He's your guy. I love me some Knoxville. Did you see the new Jackass, by the way?
I have not. Is it good? Have you seen it?
It's good. Well, it's very much, I'll just say it's very much on par with the other Jackass films.
Okay.
But I don't think we're going to see Knoxville do too many crazy stunts, because there's one scene where he's on he revisits the bull stunt, and it does not go well for poor Knoxville, but highly entertaining for those that like it. Will probably like it a lot, that being Jackass. We're at the midway point. Tana from Crash Bandicoot as Pamela Anderson. Once again, I did the old Google search and was like,
yep, that's exactly what it is.
Pamela Anderson, of course, famous for being on Baywatch. You know, if you're gonna have a character that's gonna be sexy and have that look, why not? Pam Anderson is like the epitome of that blonde bombshell, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so there you go. Number 4, what do we have now? We got Andrew Ryan as Howard Hughes in BioShock. Howard Hughes being the
aviator, the eccentric. That's right. Yeah, he's a really cool character. Andrew Ryan kind of is this guy in BioShock who built this underwater city utopia, and he had this grand vision. He was like a visionary in, I don't know if it's the 30s or 40s, and it just all went horribly wrong. Kind of the madness, the descent, the way that the people in that city evolved. BioShock is a really great IP. I think we had spoken about them making it a show or a movie at some point. Yeah. But yeah, they're really compelling characters, really, really good, strong writing. It is very much like a film. So I'm not surprised that they chose like eccentric genius Hughes to be modeled Ryan after.
Yeah, absolutely. DiCaprio did a movie about Howard Hughes. That
that was also a great film.
It was, yeah. This is interesting. Number 3, Master Chief, based on Clint Eastwood. This being the Halo series. Now, wait a minute, because isn't in Halo we don't see in the show we do, but in the series,
show, he's not supposed to. He's not supposed to take it off.
His helmet off. But
Very Mandalorian.
But I guess it's based on his movements and his kind of.
So the idea was I think like the way Clint Eastwood commands your attention. He says as few words as possible, and he just like gets you to listen. Like Master Chief has that like commanding presence where even if you don't see his face, like when he talks, you kind of listen. He brings like a very cool, collected, demeanor to the room. So it's more that like good, bad, and the ugly attitude.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And you mentioned the Mandalorian. That's totally a Clint Eastwood esque,
right? Yes.
As well, right?
Very, very much so.
I could say probably a lot of characters are based on those old Clint Eastwood.
He was so iconic. Like even just his face, that begrudging face that he gives, like it's everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure we could find a lot of Clint Eastwood inspirations. But yeah, Halo. You watching that show, by the way? I haven't checked it out. I've heard mixed reviews.
I've heard mixed as well. I heard the people who like the games don't like the show.
I heard that too.
So I don't know.
It's never a good sign when your core audience is against it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, number 2. We're getting close to our number 1. This is all so fascinating to me. Number 2 is I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Balrog.
Yeah, Balrog. Yeah, absolutely.
Based on Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Street Fighter. Totally see it. Mike Tyson in a video game, no brainer. Well, he had a video game, right? Punch Out.
Punch Out, one of the first out. Yeah, and they had to. There was some. I can't remember the controversy with Balrog, but like they had to change his name or something because it was too close to Mike Tyson and it was too obvious. So they made a couple of changes there, but yeah, they got him they got their version of him in the game. He should be in every fighting game as himself. I think.
You should. But even looking at this character now, because I did look it up, I was like, oh yeah, that's a total Mike Tyson. Yeah. Tyson, if in a fighting game, if you're going to base a character and you're thinking about who to base it on, Mike Tyson. No brainer. Okay, number one. Okay, this is weird. Weird. Okay, fill me in with this. Sonic the Hedgehog is the character from Sonic the Hedgehog games and Sega, based on, there's two here, Michael Jackson / Bill Clinton. Those are my two. What? Sonic the Hedgehog, Michael Jackson, Bill Clinton? Fill me in.
Yeah, I think the thinking was, it's insane. Well, Michael Jackson had composed music for, I'm not sure which Sonic game, but he had composed some music for some of the Sonic games. And you could see Sonic's kind of design, his shoes, they kind of have like that Michael Jackson, the little white piece at the top, the movement, the whole movement of it. So I think there was this idea of like blending like this kind of the movement of Michael Jackson with the laid back, confident attitude of Bill Clinton. And so you have this very cool, collected, like kind of sarcastic, funny hedgehog who also can like move really fast and is really smooth. And it's a really random blend, but it somehow works so well.
You say this, and I'm reading too what WatchMojo has laid out, and it makes sense. It makes sense.
You see the connections. You see the connection.
It is, and you're right. It works. So if that's where they took the inspiration from, good on them, because they pulled it off. But it's just, you're right, it is insanely random that Sonic the Hedgehog would take inspiration from Michael Jackson and Bill Clinton. But yeah, looking at the shoes, and you're right about the kind of the smoothness of
the gloves as well. He's got the white gloves,
Totally. I definitely see the Jackson and the Bill Clinton attitude. I guess what was it 90s, early 90s? Yeah, 1991 the first game came out. So yeah, Bill Clinton was like the cool guy, right? Playing the saxophone. Right. So yeah, they probably were like, make him like Bill Clinton. There you go. Corporate. Amazing. All right, Ricky, this has been so much fun. I can't thank you enough for joining me once again here on the program.
Oh, man, it's always a pleasure to be here, and looking forward to the next one, Matt.
All right, well, folks, it is time to jump into our Mojo Chats of the Week. Let's check out some interviews from the new film, Downton Abbey, A New Era. Hey, listen, Downton Abbey is back with a new movie. It's a new era, as the title alludes to. I'm excited to chat with Laura and Alan here. Laura, let's start with you. Take me behind the scenes when you're doing this movie, because looking at the cast list and the crew, I mean, that's like a small village. Controlled chaos? What's happening back there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always a joy to get back together. And when you've got a cast this big, it's like trying to get everyone to shut up so we can get some work done is a real thing. But yeah, it's really joyful. It's a really fun set to be on. And everyone across the board is just so lovely. So it's a real joy to be on that set.
Yeah. Alan, we are still in the late 20s, right? What is it?
29.
We're almost in the 30s. As an actor, is it still fun to play in that era? Because I talk to some people, and they have certain eras that they like to be in. What's the 20s like? The clothing, the things you can't say, can do, that kind of thing. For your experience,
I think it's great fun. What I've loved about this show, not only for the movies but the series, is we've watched these characters develop through the ages. I mean, it started in 1912, so to be in the 20s, we've only actually been there as a cast for half of our time. So I think it is still great to see the changes in fashion, and we got to see that again when we went to France. Suddenly, everything was looser, even on the guys. They didn't have to wear the same kind of tuxes, except for one dinner, and the linen suits. And I loved how they feel, and you almost can see how time is moving on in what they're wearing and how they are, as you say, they're changing. They're more relaxed, hands in pockets, which Alistair Bruce, our historical advisor, still shudders at. The idea that you can put your hands in your pockets. We're not still in the 30s.
Yeah.
That's also one of the things that's great about these Downton Abbey, the shows and the movies, is the production design, the costume design, the set design, the props, everything. Have you ever, I guess to both of you, have you ever, I don't know, taken something with you, borrowed something from set, maybe a piece of attire that's in your closet? And don't worry, I won't tell anybody.
Laura, do you want to go first?
Well, there's only one thing that I took from the whole 12 years, which isn't bad really, which is the last scene that we shot of the whole series of the TV show, I have the small purse that I had for the scene at the Ritz. I loved it, and I think it was a moment of madness where I did approach the costume designer Anna Robbins and say, I just love it so much, and she was like, just have it. So I didn't really steal it, but I kept it. Yeah.
The only thing I kept was the small menu card from our very last meal at Highclere.
Yeah.
Okay, so
not a vintage item of clothing.
No.
Person and a menu card. Okay, last question, because as I've been saying, is these movies have become an event. It's for some people, it's like their multiverse of madness, right? This is their big event film. So I can't imagine I don't know, popcorn and root beer. Because most theaters now you can get it in an adult beverage. What would you pair with this movie? Alan, start with you. What an adult beverage to watch a new era?
I'm going with a gin fizz.
Oh, nice. Yeah, gin and tonic.
No, gin fizz cocktail.
Right, I see. Right.
Yeah.
So you got the bubbles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now I'm thinking about gin and tonic, which I feel like it's a very south of France aperitivo moment. So yeah, gin.
Amazing, guys. I'll load up on the gin, and we do encourage everyone to check it out. Have a great time and watch responsibly. Thank you guys so much. All right, Downton Abbey is returning. They're back with a new movie. It's a new era, as the title alludes to. I can't wait to chat all about it. I've got Joanne and Phyllis. Joanne, I'm going to start with you. Rate the giddiness, your excitement level on that first day to see everybody and to be back. I mean, was it exciting, or maybe it wasn't?
It was. I mean, I can be quite giddy anyway, can't I? So I do get a little bit like a puppy dog when I haven't seen everyone for a really long time. So it's always so exciting to come back and, be with a group of people that you've loved spending, the last 12 years of our lives on and off together, working together. So and to get to come back to do a second movie is just, nothing we ever expected. So yeah, it's incredible. It's just so fun to be back, and we have such a giggle doing the films and we did on the show, and it's just a joy to be there. So
Phyllis, talked about the newbies, the new people that come on. Are they nervous? Is there a Downton Abbey initiation that takes place?
Yeah, we flush the heads down the toilet and that's it. No, it's not eaten, I think they were quite happy to be involved, and we were certainly thrilled to have such accomplished and wonderful actors, and as well as being wonderful human beings, as part of the team. And they slotted in like, a glove. They were just brilliant, great fun, and superlative in their roles, I would say. So it was lovely. It's always nice. I mean, it's great for us all to be together again, but it's always nice to have some fresh blood. They were just peachy, every last one of them.
Well, I can contest that everyone nailed it. It's always fun to see these movies have become an event, right? It's almost, I was saying this earlier, for a certain demographic, this is like their multiverse of madness. This is their Marvel MCU. The Downton Abbey. It's an event cinema, which brings me to my next question, because in a lot of cinemas now you can get an adult beverage. I can't imagine watching Downton Abbey with a root beer. So for my final question, what would you pair with this film? An adult beverage, maybe you can get it at your local cinema. What do you think?
Maybe a mimosa or something.
Mimosa, yeah. Or it'd have to be champagne, wouldn't it? For Downton.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll do both.
Good, one in each hand.
Whatever you choose, enjoy, because this is a lot of fun, especially if you're into the Downton Abbey world. You're not going to want to miss it. It's a new era. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. You.
Listen, Downton Abbey is back in a new movie. It's a new era, as the title alludes to. This is your baby. These are your kids. This is your creation. You must be excited to see that this is continuing on with movie number 2. How are you feeling, by the way?
Well, I mean, the whole thing's been rather an extraordinary adventure, as you can imagine. I mean, you start these things up hoping to get 2 or 3 series out of it, and hoping it'll sell somewhere beyond your country of origin. But 13 years later, here we still are making it. The actors are all, I think they're 13 years older in real life and about 18 years older in the story. So it's not very different, actually. And we've seen quite a lot of the young actors at the beginning turn into grown-up men and women with leading player careers and everything. One of the nicest bits of it, actually, that. But it has been extraordinary. I mean, I think, you know, to take a leaf out of AA, you have to do it a day at a time and not get too ahead of yourself in these things. But I suspect that's true of most of life, really. You just deal with what's on the plate this day and, you know, keep going.
Well, you touched on something there because this has become this kind of global phenomenon. And trust me, I know people. This is like their MCU. this is an event. These movies, the Downton Abbey films. This is like their multiverse of madness, if you will. What have we tapped into, and why do you think it's translated so well from our small screen to now the big screen where Downton Abbey, we want to see it on the biggest screen we can find?
I know this is a tricky area because we all know, naming no names, we all know shows that have gone to the big screen and it hasn't quite come off for them. And so we were very conscious of that. I don't want you to think we were assuming all would be well. We were hoping it would be, obviously, but there are no guarantees in this business. And so when the first film came out and you know, and did well and was very popular and everything else, it was a very happy moment for us, but also rather a relief that we did seem to have made this transition. I mean, I think part of it, well, a lot of it really, is the cast. I think we had a pretty filmic cast, and, you know, Maggie and Elizabeth and various other people were established film stars. And so that, I think, helps us to take the audience through to the next room, you know. Yeah. And I think that was very useful. But I don't know, beyond that, there's always an element of luck in these things, as there is in every part of the business, whether, you know, what I'm doing or what you're doing. And we all have to have luck on our side, really.
The X factor is what I like to call it. Okay, last question, Julian. When I talk about movies or do reviews or previews, that kind of thing, everyone always asks, when it's based on something else, do I need to see the series? I haven't finished the last season of Downton Abbey. I didn't see the last movie. Can I still watch this and enjoy it? You wrote it. What do you think? People out there, can we go on like a blank slate?
Sorry, what's the actual question?
Do we need to have seen all the previous stuff to enjoy this new film?
Oh, no, I don't think they do, actually. And I think that's reasonably conscious on our part, that people who are not familiar with the series will grasp the situation pretty easily, very early on in the film. And so they can get it. I mean, I think most people who didn't watch the show have some idea of what it's about. I mean, you know, I didn't watch that thing about Dungeons and Dragons, you know, whatever it was called. But I still knew what it was about because my son adored it and watched it all the time and so on and so forth. So I think when you get into the kind of ether, to a certain extent, there is a degree of background knowledge. But I don't think it's necessary for the film, no.
There you have it. There you have it, everybody. Anybody can enjoy this, and you definitely should check it out. It's Downton Abbey, A New Era. The movie is titled There Are No Saints, and trust me, this is one you're going to want to check out because I just watched it last night and I can't stop thinking about it. It's raw, unflinching, and well, who better to tell us all about it than the director? Hey, Alfonso, how's it going?
Very well, thank you, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You must be happy to see this movie finally out there where people like myself can check it out, because I think there was a bit of a long road to get this thing made, right?
Yes, well, I'm super excited that it's actually gonna people gonna be able to see it, enjoy it. watch it for the first time on the big screen too. You know, it's like it's nuts that today's world we still get some of our movies get to go to the big screen, which is I'm honored and really excited about. But yeah, it took a while. I mean, we shot this around 2015, 16, you know, and I guess we were waiting for the right window. Part of me, in a way, it's like it's almost you know, kind of like the audience taste shifted for a little bit. For a while, there was all this talk about, you know, you wanted nice stories, you know, that didn't end up how there are no saints, which is raw. It talks about justice, you know, the sins of our father will be paid by the son, and it really does. You know, it's almost like the badass is back, you know, the stories of vengeance are back, you know, all this gritty, you know, real, but really, even if you screw up in the real world, it's going to come back and haunt you.
You're preaching to the choir, because this is 100% the movies that I love. So when I feasted my eyeballs, I was having a great time taking it in. And you touched on those different themes. I mean, I was watching this, it was kind of like, well, it was kind of like John Wick meets like Narcos meets, you know, with all that thrown in. How would you describe the story in kind of a nutshell, without spoilers, of course, to people? Give us a tease, I guess, Alfonso.
Sure. You know, the stories about this guy who you know, in a way, he works for this. It's a Sicario who works for this organizations, you know, crime organizations, call it, you know, mafia, call it cartel. You know, he's a guy who goes to your house and basically gets even. You know, if you need some readjustment, you know, in your life, he goes and takes care of whatever he needs to make your debt, either make you pay your debt or make your debt go away, you know. So he basically settles scores. And he used to be called the Jesuit because, you know, back in the day, they said the Jesuits would be the ones who tortured the most, you know, and in this Hispanic world, you know, in Latin America, well, they said that if they wanted to convert an indigenous person, well, the Jesuits would be the guys to do it, you know, because of their torture methods and all that. So here we have Neto, which is this Sicario who goes and tortures people, and until he gets, you know, sent into jail and he decides to change lives, you know, his moral values change. And but just before he went to prison, he broke his own moral code, you know, and this is something that's gonna haunt him for the rest of his life. So as soon as he comes out of prison, everyone wants to get a piece of the Jesuit. Everyone wants to, you know, kill him or be the one who says, I did this to the Jesuit. And so he has to now settle, you know, now there are people coming to settle scores with him. And the only thing he wants, you know, ironically, is to be with his son, try to be with his family, rejoin with his family, which is never going to happen. But, you know, last thing we lose is hope. And so now he has to find a way for his new moral values to fit with the past with his past, you know, and at the same time, people are going after him. And one of them ends up kidnapping his son, you know, and all of a sudden the story becomes about this really bad guy, if you want to put it that way, you know, going after his son. And if he had been able to control the monster inside of him before, and had put him to rest, now he has to awaken the monster again and become that person which he decided not to be anymore, and find his son.
Yeah, no, it's really great. It's a really great, the story has lots of great ups and downs, and the journey is fantastic, which brings me to the writer of it all, Mr. Paul Schrader. I mean, that must be pretty cool to direct a story based on the guy that did, I don't know, he'd done Taxi Driver and a million other fantastic movies. I just watched The Card Counter last year, which I thought was fantastic. So as a director, that must have been pretty exciting.
It was beyond exciting. I mean, it's I've admired his work my entire life. I mean, he was, I guess, I mean, I'm nervous now, but it doesn't compare to how nervous I was the first time I was on a phone call with him, you know. And it's all this pressure, you know. It's one of it really I admire him so much. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I became a filmmaker. And saying, oh, I can't really mess up his film, you know, I can't mess up, you know, what is it that you really want to tell? And it was this story of a guy who you know, it's you do things for a living, you know, and it's almost when you're a Sicario. And I've read this, and I've had some interviews with real Sicarios who said my life is worth nothing, you know. So I gotta live the moment, because I don't know if I'm gonna be alive tomorrow. And all of a sudden, you know, discovering that you are alive, and everything that you've done is gonna come to haunt you, you know, and it's not gonna haunt you, but your family. It really is a big weight on your shoulders, and it really makes you go back and reevaluate all the decisions that you made in your life. And you're like, you were just surviving, you know, you were just imposing justice as you saw it. And if we go back, you know, and I had this conversation with him, it was like, you know, Judeo-Christian religion has taught us that it's an eye for an eye, you know, it's this, what's justice looks like under the Judeo-Christianity religion, you know, and that's what we've inherited, you know, and it's almost like, I love characters that they're doing wrong and they don't know they're doing wrong. They think they're doing right, and that's Neto, right? I mean, he's in his past life, he was doing everything by the book, which was, you know, but you know, killing people, torturing people, because that was his job. And all of a sudden, you know, you see all this as it was wrong, and now I'm gonna pay the consequences.
Yeah, no, fantastic stuff. And of course, if there's a Mount Rushmore of screenwriters out there, Paul Schrader's got a spot. I don't need to tell you this, but another key part to any movie is the cast. And boy, did you get a good one here. I was so impressed with everybody. I mean, Jose here, Paz Vega, Ron Perlman as our final boss, if I can use the video game. Hey, Tim Roth pops up, Neil McDonough. I mean, you had a stellar cast, and I thought they all brought it. What was your experiences working with this? I would call it an A-list crew.
Well, it was fantastic. Obviously, Paz Vega, I had worked with her before in Mexico, but both Ron Perlman and Tim Roth, they were very, 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 not just professional, but they were like almost like mentors to me, you know, on set. You know, it was just working with them, seeing how professional they were, how good of a player they were with Neto, with Jose Maria, you know, with Jaspi. It was just watching, you know, especially Tim, you know, because I saw Tim in many TV shows and movies, you know, one of them being obviously, oh my God, Jesus. Everybody be cool. This is a robbery. If you fucking kids move, you know.
Don't worry, we'll Google it after.
Yeah, but anyone, and then it was funny because when Ron Perlman got to Mexico, he's like, "Oh, I love going to Mexico and shooting Mexico. I love Mexico." Everyone from Guillermo del Toro's movies, so it was fun to watch, you know, and creatively build a character, you know, that actually move the story forward.
Yeah, no, and like I said, they all nailed it. All right, before we go, we here at WatchMojo, we're all about ranking. We do our top 10s or top 20s. This movie fits in what I would call kind of a revenge genre, if you will. I want you to pick your favorite movie, your favorite revenge film of all time. Alfonso, can you pick one? What would top your list?
Oh my God, my favorite revenge movie from all time.
Of all time.
Jesus. I don't know if Strangers on a Train, you know, actually goes into that category. You know, I think it's I love that film, and it has some revenge. You know, they both want to get revenge.
I'll put it on my list too. There you go. Alfonso, this has been fascinating stuff. And like I've been saying, I really enjoyed it. So we encourage everyone to check it out. There Are No Saints. Go and enjoy some really great cinema. Thank you so much for your time, Alfonso.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition, everybody. Big thanks going out to Ricky. Always brings the fun. Plus everyone over there at Downton Abbey. Make sure you check out their new movie. And Alfonso, There Are No Saints. Trust me, you'll love it. Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. I've been Matt from WatchMojo. Poppin the Culture.